Grammar is irrelevant, if not completely useless in our first language acquisition. As a baby, we took in comprehensible input and we started to make connections between the words and what it denotes, and slowly we began to speak. First simple words, and then simple sentences, and finally complex sentences. That's it. No room for grammar. Although we can't do the same with English learning since we can't have that much of input, we can still learn to ignore grammar. It may sound counterintuitive, but grammar is actually the shortcut of language acquisition. Instead of developing a subconscious understanding and familiarity with the language and its patterns through large amounts of input, grammar meant to tell you directly about the generalized patterns. But the problem with the shortcut of grammar is that even if you are very familiar with grammar, you know a lot about the patterns of the language, you wouldn't have a deep understanding of the language itself. Disclaimer here, if you are preparing for a traditional exam like CET or TAM or the like, it's more efficient to learn grammar because it saves you a whole lot of input time. And the test questions doesn't really care whether you are really comfortable with using English in real life situations or not. It only matters that you choose the right answers. I've been learning several foreign languages, and the biggest nuisance for me in language learning is always grammar, with the confusing rules and exceptions. I mean, if there are rules, they should apply to all, right? That's what rules are supposed to mean. But in every human language, there are always a lot of anomalies. To understand these anomalies, we need to know that human language is firstly spoken and long after that written. And before written language came into being, there's no such thing as grammar. People just managed to speak to each other using the same pattern without a prescribed system of rules in mind. How languages are invented is still a mysterious wonder, and according to Chomsky, all human languages have this universal grammar that transcends its superficial diversity, and all human beings are born with this innate ability to learn languages. There are people supporting the theory and people against it, but it's not the matter of focus here. So if you're curious about universal grammar, you can find out more. Just Google it. There are actually a lot of materials on it. But one thing's for sure, that is, human languages are bigger and more enigmatic than a system of grammar can describe. So my suggestion here is that if you really want to learn the language, if you really want to understand it well, try to avoid the shortcut of grammar and really immerse yourself in the language. Shower in the language as much as you can, and earn your familiarity with the language.